Trish and Rob McGregor welcome you to a place where all kinds of phenomena flourish. Voices whisper ancient secrets, signs and symbols are abundant. UFOs, ETs, ghosts, and even the dead move about freely. Here we meet authors, researchers, and investigators of the mysterious, the strange, and of the inexplicable anomalies that surround us. Step out of the everyday world and take a journey into the mystical underground.
And our tech magician producer, John Posey. You can go to the mysticalunderground.com where we make regular posts and where you can find out about our books. Among our books are The Shift, Reports from the Mystical Underground, Phenomena, Harnessing Your Psychic Abilities, Aliens in the Backyard, and The 7 Secrets of Synchronicity, among many others. Trish's latest novel is White Crows, and Rob's latest book is Breathe, a Master Diver's Survival Tales, co-authored with Rick Bedoya.
Our guest today is Suzette Faith Foster, who is an energy and sound healing practitioner and transformational coach. She's the author of Calling Back Your Power, Your Catalyst for Personal and Spiritual Transformation. Her upcoming book, due out in January, is called Infinite Healing Power Within Us. She is also the vision holder for the Guiding Star Light Center in Boone, North Carolina. We'll be talking about Suzette's own miraculous healing story and more. Welcome, Suzette.
Welcome.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here.
Okay.
So before we get into your miracle story, please introduce us to the Spiritual Light Center that you are the vision holder for. And what is a vision holder? Start with that.
Okay. Well, first I want to just correct something. I don't have another book coming out yet, and it was just kind of the title of this program was the Infinite Healing Power Within.
Oh, okay.
Just want to correct that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, when's your book coming out?
I don't have. I'm not writing one
okay.
yet.
Okay.
I haven't got that inspiration.
I asked Trish to check on that.
Well, maybe that's divine hint, huh?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Could be. It's a good title.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Guiding Star Light Center here in Boone, North Carolina, we're in the mountains of North Carolina, is one of 32 global light centers. And our co-founders about 10 years ago got guidance to start bringing energetically in these light centers. And these light centers are on significantly powerful points of light, high energetic points of light around the globe. And Boone, North Carolina was the first one they really started working on, and they were based out of Virginia. And we are here growing slowly. I'm the vision holder. A vision holder is someone who's, call me the president, call me whatever. It is, I'm leading the program so far.
Okay. Well,
And
I guess that having a spiritual light center is a good idea in Boone, since you're very close to 7 devils.
yeah.
That's a town.
Yeah. Good thought.
Yeah.
We're putting all the good light out as we can.
Yeah.
Now, do you have an actual physical center?
Not yet. We
yet,
have the programs out of our home, my husband and I, our home, or we're doing some Zoom calls too.
Uh-huh.
So we do the Zoom calls. So if anyone's interested in getting on our meetup page, it's go to meetup.com, and Guiding Star Light Center.org is our guidingstarlightcenter.org is our website, but it's also Guiding Star Light Center on Meetup. And there's lots of good information, and each one of these global light centers have a different star tribe.
Huh.
It's like we're there, our guidance, they help teach us, what our specific angle is. And ours is for education and healing.
What star is that? I mean, is it a particular star?
It's Arcturus.
Oh, Arcturus. Okay.
The Arcturian.
That's a good one.
Mhm. Yeah. So it's wonderful. It's a little slow moving, but we're moving. We've got the website a year ago and we're doing programs, and I'm open to anyone who wants to do a Zoom call that they have something to share for education and healing. So anyway,
Yeah.
thank you for asking.
Okay.
Sounds
Wasn't
good.
sure. Now, are you connected to the center in Sarasota?
No,
No. Okay. I get these confused.
that's fine. There's lots
Yeah.
of there's lots of great light centers, but these are not that one.
Okay.
So
Oh,
go
go
ahead,
ahead, Rob.
Trish. Okay, okay.
Go ahead.
All right. So could you tell us what happened and how you created your miracle healing? What happened to you?
How I
It's a pretty
created my
horrendous story.
injury.
Yeah,
How I
right.
created my injury. Well, I do believe everything has a higher purpose, and thankfully I do, because that's what allowed me to come through this. Actually, just had an anniversary 18 years ago, November 3rd. Yeah, it's hard to believe it's been 18 years. I was mountain biking, and my friend Charlie and I biked every week at Umstead Park in Raleigh, North Carolina. I lived over there then. And that particular day, our friend Andy wanted to join us. So for some reason we moved it to the afternoon. But we were biking like usual, and there were obstacles on the course that we had done many times. And we did that. A teeter-totter is like you see on a playground. You go up one side, and the weight of your bike brings you down the other side. So we did the one that was always there and some other obstacles. And we really were very efficient at mountain biking. I mean, we'd go in and out of gullies. We would just do jumping logs, riding on rails. And 18 years ago, I was, much more athletic than I am today.
Sounds like a trapeze act.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. And then a bigger teeter-totter was on the course that day. And my dear friends, Andy and Charlie, said, no, I'll pass. And I felt like I want to do it. And what I learned spiritually, and part of the law of attraction, is always focus on what you want. So when I get out of my car, I literally put the divine light around me and my team, whoever's riding with us. I visualize myself getting back into the car safely. And before I did that obstacle, I literally visualized myself on the other side. I just put good energy around me. So as in mountain biking, speed is your friend. So I got a lot of speed. I went up to the top of the teeter-totter, and my bike stopped. But I went flying over the handlebars.
Oh.
And you had just those split seconds of like knowing I'm going straight into the ground. But simultaneously, there was this calm over me. Like I knew my faith has brought me through that. I know everything has a higher purpose. I know I did my part. I did my protection part. I'm in gratitude daily. I was bringing in spirit. So it was almost this has a purpose. I don't think I even would have used that word, but I knew it was okay. Like whatever is happening is okay. And I also remembered thinking, I'm not afraid of death, because I was going straight into the ground. And when you can be in a place of no resistance, which is what I had created in that moment. And again, I say my practice, my training had helped me be that peaceful, even though I'd never had anything that severe. But as I was going into the earth, I literally did hit my head. I had a helmet on, of course. My friends heard my neck snap. So I broke my neck, and I was instantly paralyzed. And then I stopped breathing. I found out later I had the same injury as Christopher Reeve. Christopher Reeve was at a horse event. He had EMS was there immediately. EMS didn't show up to me because we were out in the woods for 17 minutes. Took them that long to get to me. So if I didn't know and believe deeply what I know and believe, I would have been dead at the scene because I stopped breathing. But I like to share that I had everything I needed. I didn't have the outside help. I mean, my friends went and got help. They were there, but no EMS, no one to help me. but I had everything I needed within me. I had my mind, couldn't breathe. They say breath is everything. No, your mind is everything. I didn't have breath. So that's really cool to realize.
Did you
got our
have
mind.
Did you have an out-of-body experience at that time?
No, and I've often said, why didn't I?
Yeah, right.
I didn't die. I didn't have an out-of-body experience. I guess I didn't need it, whatever reason. But I had offered part of my sharing with my clients, I would say, memorize a mantra that you can, when challenges happen, that will bring you back to center. So I memorized, all my needs are met abundantly, my oneness with God.
Were you conscious?
Yes.
When you
I was
couldn't,
conscious.
even when you couldn't breathe?
Charlie came over and I'm mouthing 911. Took me like 3 times. I could not talk. I could not move. I could not breathe. So it was amazing. So as I shared with my clients to memorize the mantra, what's so cool about that, when you practice with the little upsets, the frustrating things that happen day to day, well, when something bigger happens, it literally just emerged from me. It just came forth. I didn't have to stop and think, what do I need to say?
Yeah.
It came forth. And the moment I said that, a lightning bolt of energy, it did not hurt, but it was that strong, came through me. And I'm a quick learner. So in my mind, I couldn't voice anything. I said it again. And the second time, instantly another lightning bolt of energy came through me. And this time my paralyzed arm flopped. A moment after that, I got my breath back. So I'm lying there, a quadriplegic, yet I got my breath back. And what's so...
Did you feel panicked?
No. And
that's
that's why
incredible.
I feel that because I had no fear of death and I felt like I had done what I needed to do, in a place of no resistance, the light can come through. If I had said, why me, Spirit? I do all the spiritual work, which I would have said in the past, but I had learned from that, thankfully. That why me, being a victim, being angry, would have blocked the amount of energy I got. I would have, I'm sure, had some, but so I think one of the biggest takeaways I have is when we trust that everything has a higher purpose, whether we understand it or not, when we just know that when we're on this spiritual path and doing our work and staying in gratitude and trusting, practicing trusting, then the light can come in. We always have the light available, but it's not always coming in because we block it. We're angry, we're judging, we're this, we're that. So it's just amazing. I say I'm a testament to the amazing power of the mind, body, and spirit, because when we align, lots of light can come through.
So what happened after? So, okay, you're laying there. What happened?
The EMS did come. And this was a cute story. My miracle segment is on a movie. I think you can still get it on Amazon, called I Hope You Dance. And they were looking for a miracle story that had a relationship to the song I Hope You Dance. And my book explains all that. But yeah, so they invited me to be in that movie. And it was really funny because they interviewed and had clips of the EMS guy helping me. So we reenacted my injury, which was pretty profound in itself. But it was funny when he explained it, so most EMS people, it's routine stuff, maybe 10% of the time, it's like this kind of level of life threatening, just trying to get it all done and a lot of adrenaline flowing. But when he shared with us for the movie, he said, she gets it, we get her in the van and ambulance, and she's asking me to hold her hand and affirm that I will be walking again.
Wow.
So I believe in the power of the mind. I believe that we, focus on what we desire and expect it, feel it, excited feelings that we're going to be there. And so I'm like, I needed all the help I could get. So he thought that was pretty weird, and you're weird probably. But moments later, he was helping, he got a few things done, and then he did that with me. And he admitted he never expected me to walk again. I mean,
Wow.
he didn't really know, because he was just picking me up for the first time, but he could tell it was pretty severe if I was a quadriplegic, and
Right. Wow.
my friends heard my neck snap. So we got to the ambulance. They took me to Duke Medical Hospital in Durham, North Carolina. And I found out that my C2 neck vertebra was totally broken in half. So technically my neck was not attached to my spine, just by tissue, not by bone. And but when my friends and family came in, again, I had the ultimate opportunity to practice what I believe. And I kept focusing on what I wanted, not what I was dealing with. And I kept saying, this is temporary. See me dancing. I love to dance.
Oh, wow.
Dancing always made me happy. And I knew if I could dance, I'd be not a quadriplegic. So that was my vision I held. And I had friends hold that vision as well. And the cool thing about it is the best doctor at Duke to do my surgery is the director of spine surgery. And he's never on call. I mean, it's a teaching hospital. They're not on call, I heard later. And the universe orchestrated the best doctor I needed to be on call. So he was on call, and I don't think he took too kindly to my positive, energetic intention.
Hold my hand.
Yeah. But he did say right before I went into surgery, you use your mind power, I'll do the work. And so it was really cool that he came around enough to honor my position.
That's good.
And he put a 2-inch screw, went through my neck and put a 2-inch screw to reconnect.
Through right here? They went through? Oh, wow.
Yeah, right here. Went through. And they had to take x-rays like every quarter turn to make sure it was still lined up and all that. I woke up from surgery, and I really like to use the power of my mind instead of taking medicine. I'm not adverse to medicine, but I'll try my mind first. And I asked them to stop any pain meds, and they did. And I had no pain. Our mind and body are amazing. The body, or even our universe, if it's money we need or better job, the universe doesn't know what is real or what we tell it. Our body doesn't know what is real or what we tell it. So if you tell it convincingly enough, like with feeling and energy, you're really magnifying your result. And so I just kept doing my mind work. I listened to sound healing in the hospital.
Were you moving? Were you able to move after the surgery?
That's a good thing. Well, remember, my doctor, I didn't share, he expected me to remain a quadriplegic.
Really?
So he said there's no Western medical understanding or expectation of how you could have gotten your breath back. He could see on the MRI I had serious spinal cord injury. He said most people are dead at the scene with this injury, and the few that remain are quadriplegic.
Jeez.
Right.
So it's amazing. And think about, our body is pure energy. And yes, we touch it and it appears solid, but that's the best our finite mind can understand. And when we really understand or start to be open, we don't even have to understand it totally, but be open to the body is malleable energy. And quantum physics has been around like 90 years or so, really supports that the body is energy, and your thoughts make a difference with what you create. So
Suzette, could you say again what your mantra was at the time of the accident that you said to yourself over and over?
yes, actually, I am literally going blank this second, but it's something like all my needs are met abundantly in my oneness with God.
Right.
Okay.
It's not that one. That's the one I use all the time now. So I'd have to look, but yeah, it come up with a mantra that says, this was it. I refuse to accept this limitation.
Okay.
God is my source.
Okay.
Huh.
I refuse to accept this limitation. God is my source.
Okay.
With law of attraction, I don't really like using the word limitation in there at all.
Mhm.
So that's why I say all my needs are met abundantly
Mhm.
in my oneness with God.
Yeah, I
But
like that.
you know how we say, oh, words have meaning, but it was your higher self knows the energy of what you're trying to say too.
Mhm.
And that overrode anything, the fact that I used the word limitation.
Yeah.
Obviously, it didn't matter that day.
And how much time took place between the accident and the surgery?
Late that night.
Oh, the same
The
day.
accident was
wow.
around 3:30.
Okay.
And I remember my daughter coming in at 1:30 in the morning. So I had surgery probably around 11 to 12, 11.
And you
Yeah.
had no pain.
No.
Wow.
So they strapped you to a board, I suppose, at the site of the accident, and
Yes, they had to be super careful.
secured your head and
Uh-huh.
neck. Yeah. Okay. Wow.
And so after surgery, they told me you'll be in ICU for 7 to 10 days. You're smiling, Rob. What am I going to say?
You didn't make it that long. You didn't stay there.
I told them I will be out of ICU in 2 days.
Okay.
And I was
They said,
out
yeah,
of-
okay, lady.
Yeah, really. Like, we got a wacko in that room. I'm sure they said that. But you know what? If they were open at all, I was an opportunity for them to look a little differently.
Yeah.
That's not my
exactly.
job to figure that out either. But so I got out of ICU in 2 days.
Mhm.
They told me I'd be in the hospital a minimum of 3 weeks.
Jeez.
And I said, I'll be out in a week. And I literally walked out of the hospital 1 week.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah.
Now,
Did they all
here's-
faint?
Pardon?
Did they all faint?
You know, I just think, and my doctor admitted it at a follow-up session one time. He said, if I look at that, it would turn my world upside down. And it's just like, wow, I'm giving you an opportunity to help your other clients use their mind
Yeah.
or whatever it could be. And they're so ingrained in doing just, that
Right.
little,
hmm
don't get me out of my box kind of thing. And
Huh.
he
But
was
it's great when you
excellent.
meet somebody, a doctor who's open to it,
Well-
who's at least acknowledges that there's a connection between the mind and the body.
Well, I think he absolutely had to acknowledge,
Yeah.
even though
Yeah, especially if you got up and walked.
I know. Well, I was walking 18 hours after surgery.
Wow.
Now, keep in mind, I was paralyzed before that, so my whole body felt like cement. And they knew I was getting a lot of mobility, so I don't know if I asked or they asked, and she wanted me to walk a little bit in the hallway, and I literally, again, visualized what I wanted. I visualized myself walking down this long corridor and back, and I
Mhm.
did. So again, I
Huh.
did nothing in the hospital without visualizing and feeling successful at it.
Mhm.
Hmm.
And my friends knew to keep a lot of visitors away. They knew my healing, and I was single at the time, but I was blessed with 2 great girlfriends that supported me a lot. And my mom flew down from Maine, and I had a great amount of support. But I knew the healing I needed and I desired was an inside job. The
Mhm.
surgeon did his part, did it expertly, and then the healing I wanted, walking, dancing. So I was walking.
Have you been dancing?
Oh, I did. I literally danced 1 month later.
Wow.
And again, I was healing like crazy. I think it happened November 3rd, and then Thanksgiving Day, I took my first 1.5-mile walk. I was walking some every day.
Wow.
That was a big change, energy for me. But every day, even then, every day I was doing my inner work, healing, because my body had gone through all that trauma, and I had to give it time to heal. So
Were you feeling much pain in the aftermath? No.
never any pain.
Well.
and I had an infection at the incision site and went back in, and my doctor was more freaked out than I was. It's like, because I'm just seeing myself fine. It's I'm not giving this any power, and that's a thing that I really do feel divine grace was with me, whatever we want to call that energy, because I gave my quadriplegia no power.
Yeah.
I didn't expect to stay that way. And I want to say that there are times if my soul absolutely had chosen to experience quadriplegia for the rest of my life, I would have.
Mhm.
And I would have dealt with it from a positive position. I mean, there are times where no matter what we do, there's still some more
Right.
lessons there, and you're not going to get the immediate healings you might think.
Yeah.
So
So you said this happened 17 years ago now?
No, 18.
18 years ago. So what was your life like back then? It sounds like you were already on a spiritual journey, on a spiritual quest, from just the way you reacted. So when did this spiritual quest journey begin for you?
it started very slowly in 1998.
Mhm.
So, and I think I started seeing clients in probably 2000.
How did it start?
Well, it's funny. One of my neighbors that I road biked with at the time, he was an older gentleman. I called him my hippie friend, and he suggested we go to this Reiki circle, which is a healing circle.
Uh-huh.
And I kind of rolled my eyes, but something guided me there.
Mhm.
And different practitioners would go around and touch your head, and I could feel the energy, which I had never experienced anything like that. And then one of the women working with me for a few minutes gave me feedback that was so right on that it really got my attention.
Huh.
So I was married at the time. It was later that year, I think we separated. But it was just a great thing. I started reading books. I started going to a few conferences or day programs. And I knew pretty early on that there's something here, that this was going to be somehow my life path.
Mhm.
And, so
When did you start the center?
probably 5 years ago. Right before COVID was the first meeting. I knew I was holding space for it, but the first meeting was like March of 2020.
2020, yeah.
That's when you got COVID, Rob.
Right. Yeah.
You got it early on.
Yeah, I did.
got
He was
there wasn't-
really sick too.
There wasn't, I had it for 3 weeks, but there was no test at that time. So everybody said, well, you don't really have it. I did.
Yeah.
So in the aftermath of your experience and your healing, have you been able to heal other people as a result of that? Did that come into play in your life?
Well, I was already being a healing practitioner before that. And I like to share that, for a healing practitioner, the best gift we can give ourselves and our clients is to keep raising our own vibration, clear our emotional stuff, work on us. Because you think of your body, or the example and analogy I've used is, you think of your body energy field like a filter in your home. If the filter is really dirty, air can't pass through. So if we have a lot of undealt with emotions, if we have a lot of anger and resentment and bitterness and judgment, if we're just not working on that, even if you want to be a healer, you're not bringing through the light that you could. So as a client, practitioner works on themselves, they're not going to higher vibration. You're able to pass more light through you. So I like to say, I'm not the healer, the client is. It takes both of us. It takes my consciousness.
You're going to love Ken.
Yes, thank you. Because the client has to be willing to receive the energy. So I'm the same healing facilitator that helps people heal cancer, pain. I help people do it instantly. I help people take several sessions, but I'm the same person. I'm the same consciousness, but every person comes to the table with different beliefs, different programming, whether they feel, do they really feel worthy of that healing? So it's a beautiful dance as a practitioner to support them. And in my sessions, I do hold the person in their divine perfection. I see them one with God. I see them already whole. And I'm guiding them to work on healing the emotional root causes associated with their injury, their health problem. But then the energy healing, again, it comes through me. That client is getting what they need. And one of my CDs, it was really interesting. Client said she was listening to it every day. And she said, I'm hearing different tones and different voices. It's not always your voice. Sometimes I hear a male voice.
Oh, that's interesting.
So it's like when we're in this space of truly heart-centered and being the highest for our clients, Spirit did imbue my book and my CDs and MP3s with what I call activation and ahas to help those clients go to a higher vibration naturally, easier. And what was so cool about what she said is it dawned on me. I knew that everything had been imbued with activations and energy, but it's like we think, oh, that's just a CD. No, it's a living CD. Spirit is using that to work with you. You're going to hear and get what you need. And I do group sound sessions when I'm with the Light Center, and I'll have people say they heard different voices than mine, even in a live session as well. Spirit is giving each person what they need for healing. And if we don't address the emotional root cause, I feel you initially can heal from the healer's consciousness and not necessarily, it won't be permanent until you sufficiently heal the emotional root cause. And that's the beauty. And what I love about that is you're not only healing physically, but when we heal the emotional stuff, we're healing at the soul level. And
well, that's what Louise Hay said too.
Okay.
I mean, and are you familiar with Louise Hay? Yeah. I mean, you can heal your life. That's what her whole book is about, all her work. So that makes total sense.
Right. And if we embrace that we're here to grow our soul, then we can look at every challenge we ever have as what lesson does this have for me? What opportunity is here? I say things don't happen to us, they happen for us. And as we can embrace that, we can be angry, we can be hurt, we can be injured, but when we can come back to center as soon as possible, it starts saying, what's the message here? What do I need to learn? How can I look at this from a higher perspective?
Have you had any residual pain over the years from the injury?
No pain, but I do
discomfort
have
or
no. I have some neuropathy, like it's subtle. Within 4 months, I was driving my car. I think 8 months later, I rode a bike again out in nature. And then Charlie and I got to riding bikes regularly again. I didn't do any of the obstacles.
No more teeter-totters.
Didn't need to prove anything to myself. But about 10 years ago, several years after, a hypothyroid developed, and my intuition got affected, and but I was told it was all related to my broken neck.
Interesting.
So yeah, and I've done all kinds of work on myself, looked at the emotional, done again, I'm very open and very serious about doing that, but I'm still looking at why is it still here? There's still a lesson for me. So I'm practicing this just like my clients. I've done so much that in what I've done, it should have been healed. So there's something else it's here to teach me. And one of the things I really do feel strongly about is my higher self wants me to know that I'm not a body. I'm one with God. And when we really work with, this is all an illusion, this 3D is an illusion, then we're here. We chose to be here. We wanted to be here. We work, play, have fun, take care of our bodies. But the big picture is, don't give it much power. You're not even here. So I feel that there's a lesson there for me around this as well. And
what sign are you? I'm curious. A Virgo?
Virgo.
Okay.
And I'm very
Very
straightforward.
perfectionist.
Yeah, I'm very much a straight Virgo. My husband's a Virgo, and he's not typical. If you read what, there's the paragraph of what a
Yeah.
Virgo stands for. He's not that much, but I am. So yeah, I love health. I love exercise. I'm medium build. Yeah, and I've had to let go of being perfectionist, but yes, that was
Yeah.
there. And
Well, I mean, detail too. Details are important for you.
I'm organized. And
Yeah.
So Suzette, going back to your injury again and that your accident, did anything specifically prepare you for this life-changing experience, do you think? Were you ready for that? Or?
Yeah, what was really cool was 2 years before I broke my neck, mountain biking again.
Mm-hmm.
I was riding, there was about 5 of us there, and one guy was ahead of me, and he stopped to let the group catch up to him. And I came to a T in the path. So I slowed way down to take a right-hand turn. There was a big root sticking up over the ground. So again, I flew over my handlebars.
Yeah.
And I land on the ground, and I could tell that I went slow motion. I mean, it was weird. I could tell I went to the ground in slow motion. But
Did you hit your head or what?
No, my arm, my body, somehow my head didn't get hit. But I remember the slow motion. And my first thought, again, we grow with time and grow through experiences. My first thought was, Spirit, where were you? Because remember, I did all my protection around me. So I was naive enough, and I think this is really important for us all to grasp. I was naive enough to think if I did that work, Spirit would protect me from anything bad. But in hindsight, it took me a second or two to realize, oh my gosh, Spirit, you were with me. You brought me to the ground slowly. Now, this was a dirt ground in the woods. I went over my handlebars, landed on the ground. I had not even a scratch. That's how gentle I came to the ground. And again, the universe had that guy ahead of me stop to witness it. And he said, that was weird. You were going in slow motion.
Oh, really? Wow. So you had an observer who verified it.
Yeah, it was like,
that is interesting.
Spirit set things up for our highest good.
Damn, that's pretty incredible.
That was the biggest. I needed that. They did me a favor by saying, oh my God, you're always here. It may not look the way I want it to look, or I didn't get this done, or I didn't get that done, but I'm protected. I needed that experience. So 2 years later, that experience really helped me buy into we're always protected. It just, Spirit, like a energy healing practitioner or Spirit or God, we're not good. I believe they're not going to do our soul work for us. Now, if we've done work on ourselves and made some decisions and helped ourselves that way, then when an energy healer comes in, that can totally heal permanently. It doesn't always have to be talking and working through it with a practitioner. It just depends on where your life path is taking you on your own. So, but yeah, that was probably the biggest thing that I learned. What was your question again? Let me see if there's something else.
Well, if there was something that set you up for what happened.
Oh yeah,
that's amazing.
And then what I also already shared that I had the mantra, and that emerged quickly.
Well, I find it incredible that the guy ahead of you saw the slow motion. I mean, that's like a verification I wouldn't expect anybody to get,
But see, I think Spirit was setting me up because they knew I'd be teaching this. They knew I'd be growing from it. And I just think it was part of we're going to make sure. I mean, the chances of him stopping right at the time I went over the handlebars, I mean, that's not him. That's Spirit guiding him.
Say, okay, dude, stop.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
That's fascinating.
Can I throw something in real quick? Because that it kind of reminds me of a incident when I was probably around 10. probably around 9 or 10 years old, and me and a friend of mine were riding bikes. I think that's what
On a
led
mountain?
me. I think no, not on a mountain. Just we're trying to get across a busy 4-lane on our bikes.
Whoa.
And I saw him. I was ahead of him. He was behind me. I heard a car starting to hit, slam on. I heard a car slam on its brakes. I heard the squealing of the brakes, and I looked back, and there was no way that this car missed my friend, but it did.
Wow.
I mean, he was on one side of the car, and then he was on the other side of the car. That's how I remember it, So
that's interesting, John. And in quantum physics, there is no time.
Right.
Yeah,
Even
exactly.
time here. And spirit changed the timeline for him to be on the other side. It was not his time. And that's another thing to really embrace is if it was my time to go, I would have gone no matter what I did. Or if I was supposed to be a quadriplegic, I would have been a quadriplegic no matter what I did. But that's the cool thing is, number one, if we can get into a space of no resistance, like stop judging what we're going through, it has a higher purpose. I mean, that's powerful because that judgment, whatever we do brings more of what we're focusing on. So if we're angry, and we're going to attract more things to help us feel angry. If we're sending love to our body and healing energy to our body, that's going to help. And whatever we do for ourselves, because we're one with the all, we do for the collective. So it's just helped me so much of honoring that our minds are powerful, and how we think and how we see others. Like with my clients, as I said, and viewers can do this with their loved ones who are going through challenges, see them as already whole, see them as perfect and already whole. We can't feel bad enough for someone to help them. We can't, but we can see them in divine light as wholeness. It doesn't mean you don't help them. You help them in the moment and keep them comfortable and help them laugh or do whatever. But beyond the doing, know who they really are. And that's a really powerful thing that's helped me. And I feel from my own journey, I know too much about if someone pushes my button, it's really showing me that very same aspect in me. It could be other lifetimes that I get to heal. I get to forgive that in me and in them. And when we do that, again, we're healing at the soul level, and it helps to bring in more peace. We judging someone or getting mad. So I have to shift. If someone pushes my button, which I get to shift it really quickly because I feel like I know too much of this stuff. It's not serving me at all. So it's like, feel your pain, let the pain come up, honor it, but do it with spirit and say, Spirit, I'm releasing this anger or this betrayal, and feel that. And then right after you feel that for 5 minutes or whatever it takes, just, I forgive them for what they did not do, because none of us have left our oneness with God. And that's a very high level of spirituality, but it's so powerful because who does it help first? Us, because we come into peace quicker. And that's
John,
the program. I'll have a program in February, 5-week program on that, helping people really embrace that. And we'll have experiential things we'll do, and then it ends with a energy healing. So.
John, did your friend ever comment about that? About how he wasn't hit?
Well, no, we did not really spend it. Well, and probably the reason we didn't spend any time talking about it is because the guy it was a man that had slammed on his brakes and should have hit David, was my friend's name. He came to a complete stop and jumped out of his car and was screaming, at my friend, which I mean, because it scared him, because it wasn't. I understood why he was upset is because he just about hit a kid on his bike,
Right.
and so yeah, so lot of trauma, and we just kind of, and we were, 9-10 years old. We just kept going. It wasn't something we wanted to spend a lot of time thinking about.
Yeah,
So,
right.
mhm,
Yeah.
Yeah, and I also want to share, I didn't know the language at the time, but when I broke my neck and got my breath back, I just gave it credit that that's the energy, which it is energy. What I've learned since is I created a different timeline. So there's all these opportunities, all these options out there. I could have died at the scene. I could have done this. I could have done that. So I changed the timeline of the possible imminent death to getting my breath back.
Well, that's quantum also.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. And
Uh-huh.
I feel, I've that's something I feel like happens. I know where I believe I know exactly what you're talking about. So
Yeah.
with that.
And it takes time to know our power, it's focus on what we want, feel excited as if that's already happened. And the key is don't be attached to the outcome. If it has to be a certain way, that has to be this way, that's blocking energy too. So it's really trusting that your higher self is going to guide you. If that's for your highest good, you with your great energy and intentions and feeling excited that it happened, it will.
Yeah.
If it's not for your highest good, or if it's not the right timing to experience that, you won't.
Did you ever have to go through physical therapy? Was that something they recommended after this?
Well, that's a good question. What was funny is my doctor, the director of spine surgery, was just so shocked, and he had to send me to overnight rehab because he just felt like he had to, like, this woman can't go right home.
Yeah.
So I went to rehab a week, the 7 days after. They did an intake that late afternoon, and then the next morning they basically had me do a few more things and said, you don't belong here. So then I tried to do a few outpatient rehab stuff, but it was so basic, and I was an athlete, and and my good friend worked there, so she just made sure I had the right exercises. So I did practice at home, like I said, for the first 3 weeks and month or so. Everything I did was physical exercise. I mean, I was resting most of the time. I had to choose between having a shower that day or having friends come over because my energy level was so focused on healing the body. I also want to share, it may help someone too, is I did not have health insurance at the time.
Oh, God.
And it was a purposeful decision I made. And I remember I am a holistic healer. I eat really clean. I detox. I didn't feel I needed a regular doctor. And I said the only time I'd need insurance if I ever had a catastrophic injury.
God.
And then I said, God is my source if I did. Back then, it was only like $200 a month for insurance. And I remember saying, I want to put that toward my supplements and my organic food. And I just made a choice. Well, on the ground, I was surrendering my hospital bill to the universe. And
what happened?
Well, I just kept saying, God is my source. And I knew in my own mind, they would accept $1 a month if I had to give it $1. But I kept saying, this is paid in full. I just went to the end result. 2 months later, unexpected cash came. Now, it was out there in the ethers, but I know I never would have attracted it without a big need. So, but part of me focusing on that need to pay that bill, that got revealed. And so I called Duke. I didn't have insurance, but I knew that they allowed, back then it was not typical to have no insurance fee and an insurance fee. And nowadays they do that. They try to give you a break if you don't have insurance. Well, I had to go right up the line at Duke. I talked to someone and they didn't help me with reducing my costs, because I'm thinking if they can reduce insurance's fees by 50%, then I'm worthy of having my total fee reduced by 50%. And so I went right up the next person said, no, I can't help you. I could give you 30%. I'm like, no, well, who's your boss? I got to the assistant to the CFO, the financial officer. And I first said, thank you. You know, I have so much gratitude for Duke for providing this physical healing. And now I'm asking you to consider a financial healing. And I said, because of this money that came in, I said, I can pay it in full if you are willing to give me 50% off. And at first I shared my injury and the recovery, and his grandmother channeled and was very spiritual. So that was kind of cool.
Interesting.
We had a little conversation there. And then he's like, sure, like, yes. So I got 50% off my bill. My girlfriend who worked at part of the hospital said, there's no way that bill should have been way more than what it was. I mean, it was 80,000 18 years ago for
my God.
hospital for 7 days and surgery. But anyway, it's like, just don't give up on the universe blessing us. And I think I came here to learn I'm worthy, and you know, many of us have come here to learn we're worthy, and it's just taking it to wherever you need it.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, real quick, just because something else occurred to me about the story about my friend and I on our bikes. I mean, so is it especially little boys or even teenage boys tend to believe they're invincible? Is that like just a constant state of previs where you're just constantly you're and believe, and obviously there are times when accidents happen. Obviously kids are not invincible, but could it be worse if we weren't in that constant state of believing that we're somewhat indestructible? You know?
Yeah, I think, yes, I think whatever you're believing, it's powerful. And that's a positive belief, even though, you know, your parents.
Yeah, and it's crazy. You definitely cannot live your whole life like that for sure. Right. But
And I was similar. I was very athletic, very strong, very a lot of core strength. But I've always said, don't do anything stupid. You know, I wasn't like willing to go do something stupid, but you know, we had done a smaller teeter-totter and I was supposed to do a larger one, or I chose to do one. But again, the synchronicities that happened that day, when we trust that it's happening for us, not to us, man, right away, you're allowing the energy in. And I just want to share that day, as I said before, Charlie, Andy joined me and Charlie, and the doctor was on call. So two amazing things that happened. Right. But I also, something I had never done, this was spirit guiding me. I took my cell phone out of my backpack and showed Charlie my in case of emergency numbers. Now, it's like, I had to go through that. And I always say, you know, there are no accidents. There's just opportunities to deepen our faith and heal something. Or and I learned later that me breaking my neck was what I needed in this lifetime to clear the many lifetimes I had of being killed or tortured for speaking my truth.
Jeez.
And I came here to speak my truth and not so, but our past lives stay in us energetically as cellular memory, soul memory. So I'm like, God, couldn't it happen a little easier? But
you're gonna love Ken. I'm telling you.
I know. So I just know that it happened as easy as it could. I mean, really, it did. I was blessed the whole time.
What do Andy and Charlie think now? I mean, did this change how they believe?
I don't know. Neither of them were really into the spiritual angle I was. They were spiritual in their own way, but Andy admitted in the movie something I had never heard. He said there was a calm that came over me. And that's probably when I was doing my intentions and got my breath back, or the energy came in. which surprised me because I wouldn't have even thought he could have felt that, because he wasn't into energy or
Right.
sensing it. So again, spirit allowed him for his own experience
Mm-hmm.
and what he did with it. I mean, I know I had a few conversations with them, but you know, I'm
You
not
still
sure.
see them? Are you still friends?
Well, we're 3 hours apart now, so we
Oh,
don't
right.
see much of each other. We talk once in a while, and Andy passed a few years ago, so he had a health condition that didn't get fixed. So,
Hmm.
but he's in
Interesting.
spirit, and I talk to him a lot in spirit.
Okay, well, that's good.
So I think, Suzette, you help other people create their own memories by explaining what happened to you and your
Mhm.
experience. Is there other things that you can do to help people create their miracles beyond just telling what happened to you?
Well, when a client comes to me, I find out what they've either been diagnosed with or what life challenges they're dealing with. I help people really get in the right vibration to change their experiences in life. So again, we're not here to change what happened out here. Like if they're going through relationship issues or financial issues, we change the thinking first. And then the energy healing that comes through me literally helps them dissolve that old programming, whether it's lack mentality, whether it's anger, resentment, betrayal, forgiveness, or even grief. So I really hold the client in their divine perfection. When we're in the silent part of the healing, I set that intention and then I just become a vessel for the light to work through me. And some people heal literally. I remember my mom in Maine, I happened to call her one evening and she was in severe pain from a back problem and said, I feel like I'm ready to have a nervous breakdown. And I said, would you like some healing? She goes, anything that could help. So in 15 minutes, all I did is become the vessel for spirit. And that's why it's important for us to work on our own stuff. Everything's a vibration, even food and what you put in your body and how you treat it. But in 15 minutes, her pain went 100% away and her angst went away. And so I wasn't talking to her about her emotional stuff, and it stayed away. Her back, I can't remember, I think we'd been working on her back a little bit. And I have more of those stories in my book. But yeah, it's really about anything is possible. And then, but I've had clients that think, I just want to try this. I don't know if I don't really believe it. And I would say, don't waste our time. If you don't have to understand it, be open to what you don't understand and the energy will flow through you. But if you're saying this doesn't work or this shouldn't work, but I had a client who was a chiropractor and it was only like a one-time thing. And her ego couldn't get out of the way that my work could help when hers didn't. So there's all kinds of blocks that people have, but yeah, we do the emotional root cause, we do the energy healing. If you're in person, the sound healing, or getting one of my sound CDs. And I also have an affirmation CD. But the book is full of client and personal stories to really hone in these are the results I get and clients get when we do the work. It's really inspiring. When I reread my book, I'm like, wow, it's just, I like rereading the stories too, because I feel for me and a lot of my clients, it's like being bathed in this reminding, all the time, or reading or getting stories, getting inspired. Most of the time, especially because I attract mostly spiritual people, I may not even be saying brand new stuff to them. I'm packaging it in a way they can heal. And I am doing a lot of the going to the very high vibration that we're not even here. Why are we given that power? And again, it's letting go of the resistance.
You better get busy on your next book.
Thank you.
Yeah. So do you work with clients through Zoom then? Is that common?
I do
for you
mostly on the phone. I'm going to have Zoom. You can do that if they want that, but I like just not even looking at each other, and just really
Okay.
focusing in on the energy.
Huh.
Yeah, but I can do Zoom if they prefer it.
There was something you said, Ken had worked on Rob's shoulder,
Mhm.
and it worked after Ken said, for some reason, you feel you're not worthy. Right,
Mhm.
Rob?
Well, I wasn't
Wasn't that-
worthy of healing this
Yeah,
because I've
of
had
healing.
it for decades, and as soon as you said that, something clicked, and I haven't had this shoulder problem since then.
And you just needed that little reminder. That
Right.
click was, you owned it at that moment. So you've
Yeah.
likely been working on it like over the years, and then it just took that click.
Well, I would do things that would just re-injure it with little micro tears over and over again, and it would heal. And then I would lift weights or whatever, throw a baseball, and it would mess up the shoulder again. And so I had been very hesitant to do anything like that. So I became left-handed, and but then after this experience with Ken, I said, well, I'm just going to go and see what happens with my right arm again. And, I've been able to do things that I haven't been able to do for years, and expecting all the time is, it's going to go out again. And it hasn't.
No, you know what? Get rid of that thought.
Yeah,
because
really.
No wonder you didn't attract it back. But
Yeah.
the universe is using you for an example as well. And sometimes one client called on the phone, and we set up an appointment for the week later, and just, Ken's voice, my voice, a healing practitioner's voice that has a vibration, and just talking to her for like 5 minutes or so, her problem started healing, and it was healed before we had this session. So again, everything is energy, and our vibration is powerful, and people can have a heal. I know Ken does this. They can have healings in a group when I'm just talking. I usually encourage people, even your listeners, do not limit the universe using this consciousness for your highest good, however that is. And that's why people are getting their ahas with the book or the CDs, or we are amazing, but we've had so many lifetimes where we've been tamped down and not believed, or not believed that you might have tried other things, and you're like, it just wasn't going to heal. So I'm
Now,
glad
did you go through regressions to find out what these past lives, or did it just come to you?
I think it was I like to get healings with other practitioners and just totally receive as well. And it was one of those times that I was told that it was because I had had many lifetimes. And when I heard that, everything in my body agreed. I could just sense that it was true.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So we're coming to the end of our hour. Suzette, could you could you share the offer that you have for our listeners?
Yes. Yeah, I'm offering a 30-minute complimentary consult. If you set the appointment before December 15th, just email me, and that'll be, I'm sure, in the message under the video. But it's at Suzette at choose2thrive.com. That's with a digit 2 in the middle, choose2thrive.com. And my website is also that, www.choose2thrive.com. But so yeah, I just want people to have an opportunity to talk with me and see, depending on whatever they're dealing with, what kind of healing path forward I would suggest or do, and they could get a sense of my work.
Wow.
Okay.
That's great. That's a generous offer.
And that could be a few hundred people, you understand?
Well, if they do it before the 15th, I didn't say I'd get it all done in a week.
Why not, Suzette?
It will get scheduled, though, because I just love helping people remember who they really are. We're not limited, but we're really remembering who we really are. And we've had so many lifetimes that we're convinced ourselves we're limited, or programming that we're not worthy or we're not good enough. And It's just a journey, and I love what I do, and I love supporting people. Thank you.
I'll tell you.
And you know, a word, I'm sorry, Trish, but
No, just gonna
I
say-
think, go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
Yep, go ahead.
No, mine was just a comment about being a Virgo. Our daughter's a double Virgo. She's going to love the show.
Oh, okay, good.
All I was going to say is just that a lot of this to me sounds like a word that I feel like has gone totally out of vogue, and it's just wisdom. Wisdom is the difference, you know, just anyways, everything that has already been said, but wisdom is something that we I don't think put enough stock in these days. So.
Yes, thank you for
That's
saying
right,
that,
too.
because I often say in my sharing, if you've heard what I'm saying, intend that you own it, because a lot of people will just, oh, I already know that. I've
Uh-huh.
heard people say that, but they don't live it.
Yeah.
So our opportunity is in this energy field to clear anything in the way, so you get to live these teachings and these truths. And that's what you said. I think it's not what we know, it's gaining the wisdom,
Mhm.
what we own. So thank you for that, John.
Well, this was great.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you very much. It's been great.
Thank you for sharing.
Okay.